We've all been there, trusting someone with our whole heart, only to watch that trust shatter in an instant. The pain of betrayal cuts deeper than words can express, leaving behind a wound that lingers long after the truth comes to light. Today, we unravel some of the most jaw-dropping stories of infidelity, stories that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and the people closest to us. Imagine giving your heart to someone, believing in the future you've built together, only to discover that everything was a carefully crafted illusion. The heartbreak is one thing, but the deception? That's something else entirely. These are the real-life experiences of people who have walked through the fire of betrayal and emerged forever changed. Sarah thought she had found a forever in Alex. Their love was a kind people envied, effortless, strong, and filled with the kind of moments that seemed straight out of a romantic movie. Friends admired them, and family often spoke of how perfectly they fit together. But perfection, Sarah would soon learn, can be a fragile illusion. At first, it was just small things, little changes in Alex's behavior that she brushed aside. His text became shorter, his calls less frequent. He seemed distant, even when they were together, as though part of him was somewhere else. Sarah told herself it was just work stress, that every relationship had its ups and downs. But deep inside, a quiet unease took root, whispering that something wasn't right. One evening, she decided to surprise him. She picked up dinner from their favorite restaurant, imagining the look on his face when she showed up at his door unannounced. But when she arrived, excitement turned to dread. The lights were on. Voices drifted from inside. Laughter, haze was unmistakable. But there was another, a woman. Her pulse pounded as she hesitated, gripping the door handle with trembling fingers. A part of her begged to turn away, to pretend she hadn't heard anything, to hold on to the fragile hope that this was all a misunderstanding. But she couldn't. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open. The sight that met her eyes was one that would be burned into her memory forever. Alex sat on the couch, arms draped around another woman, their intimate closeness undeniable. Time seemed to slow. The air left her lungs. The woman turned to look at her, a smug, knowing expression playing on her lips, as if she had already won. Everything that had once felt solid crumbled in that moment. The love she had trusted, the man she had built her dreams around, it had all been a lie. The next moments were a blur. She didn't remember leaving the apartment, only that she needed to get away, to escape the suffocating weight of her own heartbreak. She wandered the streets in a daze, replaying the scene over and over, unable to make sense of it. How long had this been happening? Had she been blind to the truth all along? Her phone buzzed in her pocket, snapping her back to reality. It was Alex. "We need to talk." The word sent a fresh wave of nausea through her. What could he possibly say? Did he think there was an excuse, some justification that could make this hurt less? She sat in her car, staring at the screen, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then, another message appeared, this time from Emily, her best friend. "I'm so sorry. I heard about Alex. Are you okay?" Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. Emily had always been there for her, always the one to offer advice, to lift her up when things got hard. But this pain was beyond words. Moments later, her phone rang. "Sarah, you there? Talk to me." Emily's voice was filled with concern, but Sarah couldn't speak. She could only stare at the text from Alex, the weight of it pressing against her chest. "He says we need to talk. What does that even mean?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "Do I even want to hear him out?" Emily was silent for a moment before speaking carefully. "I don't know, but you deserve to hear the truth, whatever that is. You can't move on if you don't know what really happened." Sarah closed her eyes, hating that Emily was right. She needed closure, needed to face a man who had shattered her heart. But could she do it? Could she sit across from him, listen to his explanations, and not break apart? Meanwhile, Alex sat alone in his apartment, pacing back and forth, his thoughts a whirlwind of guilt and regret. The moment Sarah had walked in, he had known. There was no undoing what he had done. He had destroyed something irreplaceable, and now all that was left was the aftermath. But he couldn't just let her walk away. Not like this. The minutes dragged on, the silence between them heavier than words. Neither knew how to start the conversation. Neither knew if anything could possibly be salvaged. Sarah's hand shook as she finally typed out a reply. "Where?" The response came almost instantly. "My place. Please." Her heart pounded as she gripped the steering wheel. There was no turning back now. The drive felt endless, every red light a cool reminder that she was heading straight toward her worst nightmare. Every second felt like a lifetime. Inside the apartment, Alex stood frozen, staring at the door, waiting. Would she come in? Would she even look at him? And if she did, would he see nothing but the pain he had caused reflected in her eyes? Sarah sat in her car outside his building, gripping the wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. The weight of everything they had been, everything they had lost, pressed down on her. This wasn't just a conversation. This was a moment that would decide everything, whether there was anything left to save, or if this was the end of it all. She took a deep breath, wiped away the tears threatening to fall, and reached for the door handle. Sarah opened the car door, and the cold night air rushed in, wrapping around her like an unwelcome embrace. She stepped out, the sound of her heels tapping against the pavement slicing through the thick silence of the night. Every nerve in her body was on edge, her heart beat a frantic rhythm in her chest. She still couldn't believe she was about to do this. As she approached Alex's apartment building, she noticed the door was already cracked open, as if he had been waiting for her. The sight sent a chill down her spine. Her hand hovered over the wood for a brief moment before she finally knocked, her fingers trembling. Seconds later, the door swung open, revealing Alex. His face was pale, drawn, dark circles shadowing his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Their eyes met, and for a fleeting second, the world around them seemed to stop. Alex parted his lips, searching for words, but Sarah didn't give him the chance. "I don't want to hear your excuses, Alex," she said, her voice laced with betrayal. "I saw everything. How could you do this to me?" Alex flinched, as if her words had struck him harder than any slap ever could. "Sarah, please," he pleaded. "Let me explain. I know I messed up, but—" Before he could finish, another voice drifted through the dimly lit apartment. A woman's voice. Soft at first, then unmistakable. "You don't have to explain, Alex. It's already over." Sarah's stomach plummeted. Her breath hitched as a woman stepped into view, her silhouette a cool reminder of the scene she had walked in on earlier that night. The woman's expression was smug, victorious, as if she had been waiting for this moment. Then she spoke again, and her words felt like a blade plunging deep into Sarah's chest. "I'm pregnant. Sarah, I'm carrying his baby." The world tilted. The air felt too thick to breathe. Sarah's mind reeled as she struggled to process what she had just heard. Her entire reality, already crumbling, now shattered into irreparable pieces. Alex stood frozen beside her, his face drained of color, his mouth opening and closing as if trying to find a way to undo what had just been said. The woman folded her arms, a cool smile tugging at her lips. "I didn't want to tell you like this, but after tonight, I think it's time you knew. I've been seeing Alex for the past 6 months, and has been mine, Sarah, has been mine all along." Sarah felt the floor beneath her shift. 6 months. That was how long he had been lying to her, sneaking around, building a separate life while she had been foolishly believing in forever. She wanted to scream, wanted to unleash every ounce of pain she was feeling. But the words refused to come. Her body was paralyzed, her mind trapped in an endless loop of disbelief. Alex stepped forward, reaching for her, but Sarah recoiled, holding up a shaking hand to stop him. "No," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I can't do this. I can't be a part of your lies anymore." She turned, her legs weak beneath her, but before she could take another step, Alex's hand closed around her wrist, his grip desperate. "Please, Sarah, don't go. I swear, this isn't what it looks like. You have to believe me." Tears burned in her eyes as she ripped her arm free. "I don't know who you are anymore, Alex. I thought I knew you, but I don't. I can't be here." With those final words, she turned and walked away. Every fiber of her being screamed at her to look back, to search for some glimmer of the man she had once loved. But she didn't. She couldn't. The door slammed shut behind her, sealing the chapter of her life she had never imagined ending. But just as she reached her car, fumbling for her keys with shaking hands, she heard her name. "Sarah, wait!" Her body stiffened. She closed her eyes, willing herself not to turn around, but the sound of hurried footsteps told her he was coming after her. "I know you're hurt," Alex said, his voice raw with desperation. "I know I messed up, but please don't walk away like this. I never meant for any of this to happen." She turned slowly, her vision blurred with unshed tears. "You don't get it, do you?" she whispered. "You didn't just mess up, Alex. You broke me. How do I ever trust you again?" Silence hung between them, thick and suffocating. Then a new voice sliced through the tension. "Alex," the woman called from behind him. "We need to talk." Sarah's stomach twisted as a woman walked past Alex, her expression shifting into something far more sinister. "The thing is, Sarah," she said, her voice dripping with something unsettling, "I'm not the only one who's been lying." Alex's brow furrowed. "What the hell are you talking about?" The woman smirked. "You're not the only one who's been in a relationship here. I've been seeing someone else too. Someone who's very close to you." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. With an eerie calmness, the woman pulled out a phone and held it up for Sarah to see. The screen displayed a text message. "I'm in love with you. Let's end this once and for all." Sarah's breath caught in her throat as her eyes locked onto the sender's name. Emily, her best friend. Her world tilted again. But this time, it wasn't just heartbreak. It was betrayal on a level she hadn't even imagined. The woman smiled, her eyes gleaming. "She's been playing both sides. Sarah, you never saw it, did you? She told me everything. About you, about Alex, about your weaknesses. This was always her game." Sarah's pulse pounded in her ears as she turned away, nausea curling in her stomach. Emily, the person who had held her hand through every heartbreak, the person she had trusted more than anyone, why would she do this? Sarah muttered, more to herself than anyone else. The woman shrugged. "Jealousy, maybe, or maybe she was never your friend at all." Sarah felt the weight of it all crash down on her. She turned back to Alex one last time, her heart as heavy as a night around them. "I thought I knew you. I thought you were different. But now I see you were just as tangled in this mess as she was." Alex took a hesitant step forward. "Sarah, please." She shook her head. "No, Alex. It's over." And this time, when she walked away, she didn't stop. She didn't hesitate. As she drove into the night, tears finally fell, not because she was weak, but because she had found her strength. Yes, she had lost love. Yes, she had lost trust. But she had gained something far more powerful. Freedom.